Okay, for this one, I am just going to show you this thing in action. Basically, I'll run it through a cycle. What I'm going to do is I am cleaning this knife, and you can see down inside there's quite a bit of grit and nastiness. I've already cleaned one of these this way, so I know it works, but I just figured I'd show it in a video as to, it cleaning something and what the process is. I have folded it up like this with the blades up so that it fits inside the basket. I also have the smaller pieces I dropped somewhere. They must have fallen out of here, so I'm going to have to find those. But anyways, this piece is in here. What I did is I filled this with extremely hot tap water, as hot as I could get it, and then I put some dish soap in here. It is recommended in the instructions that you can do that for enhanced cleaning. You can put just regular water in there. I haven't put regular water in. I figured I'd put detergent in with the other one, and I'm going to do it again with this one. I have the clock set to 480. You can change this setting from 90 on up to 480. It's 480, I believe, seconds. And I filled this up just below the max line on the stainless steel tank inside here. There's a max line. I only fill it up just before it, just so that when this goes in there and it pushes the water up, displaces the water, it will not go over the full mark. And what I'll do is I'll wind up getting some bubbles here and things like that, but that's not a big deal. I can just wipe those down into the bucket. It doesn't matter. There's a rubber ring around the stainless bucket here that prevents water from going into the machine itself, and I haven't had any problems. I've used it a couple of times. So far, I haven't detected any water getting inside the thing. When you dump it out, you have to go over top of that rubber seal anyways. You're pouring it over it. So again, I haven't had any issues with it. The only discoloration here is because I left this plastic film that covers this thing on there. Basically, all you do is drop the lid, hit on, and that's how much sound it makes. It's actually quite quiet. I'm not going to have you sit through the entire thing. What I'll do is I'll stop this here, and then I'll pick it back up when it's done, and I'll just rinse the knife off in clean tap water, and then I'll run it back through the microscope. I'm going to run a pre-cleaning thing through the microscope on the beginning of this video so you can see it dirty, then see it go into this cycle, and then you'll see the last part of it where it's actually clean. It works quite well for cleaning stuff like this. My next attempt is going to be at a printer head that is gummed up and doesn't print right. Supposedly these things are good for that stuff. This operates at 42,000 megahertz, I believe. But the higher you go, apparently 42,000 hertz. But the higher you go, supposedly the better cleaning it is, but you're also paying a lot more for it. This one here, I don't remember the size offhand, 750 milliliter, 1.3 pints. That's a little bit bigger than some of the other ones that I've seen on Amazon. There are bigger ones than that. You can see I can barely fit that Swiss Army knife in there. You can't really get much bigger than that. I mean, you can. It does say in the instructions that you can leave the lid open and have the item kind of sticking out if that's the way you need to do it. So I don't see an issue with that either. It's not much louder when I put the lid up. What I'll do is I'll shut up here for a second. And you can hear that there's a difference in the sound. It's not very loud at all. You can barely hear it. But yeah, I'll stop it here, and then we'll pick it back up in just a little bit. Okay, so I'm back. We've got it cleaned. I don't know that you will be able to see all that much from here, but like I said, after this video here, I will add a little piece in that goes through and shows you the inside of this thing with the microscope. It's definitely much cleaner. What I've done is I just took it out of the basket, rinsed it under the faucet to get the soap and stuff off of it, and then dried it for the most part with a paper towel. It's still a little damp here and there, and I'll make sure to completely dry it out with a heat gun before I re-oil it and put it back together. I did find the tweezers and the toothpick while the thing was running, so I threw those in there as well, and that cleaned up quite well as well. You know, it's clean inside. Same thing with the toothpick, which I don't use all that often. I don't think I've ever picked my teeth with this thing, but I do use the pliers quite a bit, or the tweezers quite a bit. But it's pretty easy with this thing. All I did, you know, I took it upstairs, I cleaned, you know, pulled the basket out, rinsed the knife inside the basket, and then I just dumped the inside of the tray out into the sink and then rinsed it a couple of times with some water. Here you can see the max line. It's on both sides here. They tell you not to fill it up past that line, probably because this rubber gasket here is what you have to worry about. That's sealing the housing from the stainless steel dish here. But rinse it out, dry it off, it's good to go. Nice and clean. I don't have the other small baskets down here, but there's a basket for like a watch band to keep the actual watch above the water and the band in the water. And then there was another piece, I forget what it is, some kind of stand or something. Another stand that came with this thing. It works great. I have no issues with it. That's one time, $480. You can run this thing. The instructions tell you that, you know, if you really need a deep cleaning, you know, run it through a couple of times with water changes. It really only needs one time on that high setting, that long setting, and it's clear. It's clean. All that grit and stuff that was down inside there, it's gone. So it works great for knives, and it would work great for any knife, I would imagine. But plenty of uses for this thing around the house. Jewelry, like I said, the toner cartridge I'm going to try, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll update the review after I run that and see, you know, if that makes any difference. Hoping it does. That would be great, because this is probably the second or third printer I've had this problem with, and it's really a pain in the ass. But there are just a ton of things. I could sit here listing it all day, but I'm sure you can think of some things that you'd like to get cleaned in there. And you know, it's a decent sized basket. I put the measurements in the photos. You can fit quite a bit in there. It's small, you know, in shape, so you can easily just store it away, and it doesn't take up all that much space. And that's it. I'll add the video after this, and we're done. Thank you.